Welcome to a very special Halloween edition of the Beyond Files. Tonight, the veil is thin. The costumes, well, they're cursed. And shadow people, they didn't get the memo about trick-or-treat boundaries. If you came here to question reality, you're in the right haunted house. This isn't just any Beyond Files. It's also the final night for our seasonal skeleton co-host, Dusty. He's been, well, rattling around back here, cracking dry jokes and offering absolutely no help editing. After tonight, he returns to the bone bin till next year. Say goodbye, Dusty. We've got a packed graveyard of videos tonight. So to kick things off, let's take a stroll down Nighttime Avenue where costume parties get paranormal. And some of these disguises might be hiding more than just faces. The first 5 clips are Halloween costumes, but not all of them feel human. Let's dive in.
Hey guys, you wanna go scary?
Looks like the new neighbors are moving in. I'm so excited. Oh my God! No, 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 no! Stop! Stop! I'm so sorry. Stop. I promise 11 months out of the year we're normal. They just are a little uncontrollable right now. You, Harrison, you're adorable. Please get the knife out of your eye for the 100th time. Evan, get in the damn house now. You're an idiot.
The truth about Halloween. Halloween is the highest day on the satanic calendar. It is the most probably important day on the satanic calendar. It's considered a high day. It is also the night of the year where there is the most human sacrifice on the whole planet. So if we look at it in a, let's call it the popular culture aspect first, So many people think Halloween is about candy and it's about dress up, but they don't question the meaning behind it. So let's say, for instance, in a neighborhood or an area, there's homes that celebrate Halloween, where they put up the decorations and they do the pumpkins and they do the candles and the candy, those things, right? And it's fun. Let's say in a neighborhood, there is houses that do that. So that whole perimeter becomes one big satanic ritual for that whole neighborhood.
Wait. So you're telling me, because I've got them already up, it's September. There's skeletons, there's creepy stuff in our neighborhood already. So you're saying my neighborhood right now is cooked? Like, what are you saying there?
So I'm saying that in a neighborhood or a area perimeter where there is a few homes, that is already a set up as in terms of a hotspot for demonic activity. And anybody, whether they're Christian or non-Christian, that have open doors, that moves or lives in a neighborhood like that will be affected. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so what do we do as Christians?
So, firstly, we make sure that we are in righteous standing with God, that we do not have any hidden sin or open doors in our life, that we are in a righteous covenant with Him. So, if we can get there, that is a very good place to start. And then it is about praying, like being in serious prayer, that people who celebrate Halloween, whether they're being a Satanist or an atheist or someone having fun, that whilst they're doing that they will actually have a true encounter with Christ.
So let's pause. That is a heavy claim. And here on the Beyond Files, I don't shy away from heavy, but I do want to weigh it. Here's what we know. In modern satanic traditions, like the Church of Satan, was founded by Anton LaVey, Halloween is recognized as one of their more significant holidays, and that's true. It aligns with the ideas of embracing the self, unleashing hidden desires, and stepping into symbolic darkness. And yes, Halloween itself has roots in Samhain, an ancient Celtic festival marking the shift into winter. It was seen as a time when the veil between worlds thinned, but that didn't mean it was automatically about human sacrifice. Most modern scholars agree. The bloodier tales of Samhain came later, through fear-driven reinterpretations by outside groups, often during Christianization campaigns. As for the claim about widespread human sacrifice on Halloween, well, there's no verified evidence of this being true on a global scale. It's a claim that circulates often from an ex-occult testimonies or fear-based outlets, but it lacks historical grounding, and it doesn't mean there aren't dark things done in secret, but we don't want to conflate shadows with certainty. I think the deeper question here might not be, is it all satanic, but rather, what energies are we invoking when we participate unconsciously? What symbols are we inviting into our homes, our rituals, even unknowingly? That's where things get real, because in the spirit world, intention matters, and ignorance doesn't always mean immunity. So if this night carries power, and I believe it does, then maybe the question isn't whether to celebrate Halloween, but how do we do it? With awareness? With reverence? Or on autopilot? That's what I'd ask.
Vault of the Unseen Presence, the ancient roots of the jinx. The word jinx isn't just a game or a superstition. It comes from something much older, something darker. In ancient Greece, a jinx was a cursed ritual, named after a bird, the wryneck. It twisted its neck unnaturally, and was believed to twist fate itself. Witches would bind these birds to cursed dolls, chanting incantations to bend a person's will, or break it entirely. In Rome, soldiers feared these spells more than swords, because a jinx didn't just hurt the body, it shattered your luck, your momentum. And once a jinx was cast, you weren't just fighting enemies, you were fighting the timeline itself. Today we say don't jinx it like a joke, but the ancients knew better. They knew that certain words weren't just bad luck, they were keys that opened doors that you can't close again.
It's not all fiction. The Greek nymph lynx was said to be transformed into that bird, used in rituals to attract love or shift fate. The bird's eerie neck twisting, that's real. And the name, it really did evolve into the word jinx.
Did you know that the Ouija board actually named itself? So the woman that created the Ouija board was using it one day and just straight up asked the board what it wanted to be called, and it spelled out the word Ouija. Oui meaning yes in French, and ja meaning yes in German. So a lot of people interpret this to mean that the board was identifying itself as a sort of spiritual being that kind of transcends all languages and knows all things, like omnipotent, if you will. So this woman, her name is Helen, she takes the board in to get a patent for it. But the guys at the patent office just laugh her off. The clerk there pretty much said, "Look, lady, I don't know you, you don't know me, but if your silly little board can spell my name out, I'll give you the patent for it." So, according to legend, Helen sat the board down, put the planchette on top, and the Ouija board spelled this man's name out in front of everyone. And that is how we got the patent for the Ouija board. Now, the spookiness doesn't end there, because the board would be manufactured by two men before it fell into the hands of William Fuld. And William truly believed in the powers of the Ouija board because he himself used it all the time. He recognized that the spirit attached to the board, or whatever he was communicating with, had some type of special knowledge, so he used it to ask for direction. Well, one day, according to William, the board told him that he should go and buy a second factory in Baltimore so that Ouija boards could continue to be mass-produced on a larger scale. And he did just that. William bought the second factory to manufacture Ouija boards, but sometime later, he was supervising a project on the roof of the building when he fell from the third-story building, landing on the street outside, and a piece of his broken off rib pierced him in the heart. Now, William did not die. Not right away, at least. He was able to make it to the hospital, where he told his family to promise that they would never sell the brand Ouija. He didn't want anyone outside of the family to handle the production of Ouija boards. It was literally his dying wish. But 39 years later, to the date of William's tragic passing, his family sold the patent of the Ouija board to the Parker brothers. Now, the Parker brothers were based out of Salem, Massachusetts, and they spent a hefty $1 million back in 1966 on the Ouija board patent, which is actually the most that anyone has ever paid for a game patent. Interestingly enough, and a little bit of a side note here, Ouija is actually the only other quote-unquote board game, if you can even call it that, to ever outsell Monopoly. But the Parker brothers would eventually go out of business, and the Ouija board would then start being produced by Hasbro, who still owns the rights to it today. While I've never actually played with the Ouija board because I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat when it comes to stuff like that, I did actually find an antique Ouija board in the drywall of my bedroom closet, and I've talked about that here before. But I've also heard horror stories from people that I know that have played with Ouija boards, and I can tell you guys those if you want to hear them. Otherwise, if you've had a scary experience with a Ouija board, please, please, please send them to me at this email, because I'd love to read through them and potentially share them here with my followers if that's something you guys are interested in.
This is the quickest way to get possessed or get an attachment. I don't care what you say, Ouija boards are evil. I don't care that you can buy them at Walmart or Amazon. It's not the boards themselves, they're just plastic, wood, or cardboard, but it's the intent of what you're doing. When you try to reach out to something on the other side, you're going to contact a demon. And this right here proves why you should definitely stay away from these evil things.
Are you okay?
Oh my god! It's hard! Are you okay? Oh my god, you guys! Guys, can we get some water, please? Are you okay?
Yeah, it's fine. I know. We'll close it.
Dad, please.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Oh no, it's not even wrong.
You need to close it properly. Please,
Look,
Dad.
I want to show you something on.
Dad! Kitty! Oh my god!
This man thought that a Ouija board
was just a game, and he lived to regret it. I can speak on this matter because I have experienced it. Ouija boards are not toys, not a game. You're not talking to a deceased relative. You're not talking to a long lost friend who passed away. You are talking to something straight out of the pits of hell. Don't believe me? Read it yourself. It's in the Bible. These things are demonic. I don't care if they're plastic, wood, cardboard. It's the intent behind what you're doing. The Ouija board itself is just kind of a conduit. It doesn't matter what it's made of or where you bought it. You're talking to something evil. Watch this.
If you are here, please let me know you are here by... Oh. It just moved a little bit. If you are here, please let me know you are here. Bro, you won't even believe this. Hold on. This is not even fake. Hold on. This just flew. The glass just came off too. And there is no strings on this or nothing. That is why you stay away from Ouija boards. I'm telling you right now, stay away. I learned my fucking lesson. Oh, hell fucking no. I gotta go. You guys don't fucking hear that? Oh, fuck.
You know, people treat Ouija boards like a parlor game, but what those clips show is that the door doesn't always close behind you. Spirit boards, automatic writing, pendulum divination, these were all once sacred tools. And like any sacred tool, the question isn't just, does it work? It's who's on the line and who's paying the cost of the call. And when the veil is thin, like it is tonight, this time of year, those invitations, they go further than you think.
Congratulations.
Oh, well, hello.
You've been hired as a babysitter.
Oh, have I?
In the Collins mansion.
Oh, the
It's
Collins
deep in the
mansion.
woods.
Why is it deep in
Your
the woods?
job? Watch their daughter, Samantha.
Right,
and
okay,
follow the
easy.
rules.
What do you mean, follow the
Especially
rules?
Rule number 7.
What do you mean, rule number 7?
Rule number 1.
Right.
Samantha must be in bed with her door locked before 8 p.m.
Why the door
exactly.
locked?
After 8. Never open it.
Why?
No matter what she says.
What do you mean, what she
That's
says?
not Samantha.
What do you mean it's not Samantha?
Rule number 2. Between
I'm
8:30
nervous.
and 9:30,
Right.
you may hear scratching and growling. Ignore it.
From the room?
Stay in the living room with the lights on.
Stay with the
Rule
living
number
in the
3.
with the lights
After
on.
9:30,
Right?
do
Oh my god, I'm
not
shaking.
venture into any dark areas of the house.
Why?
If you see eyes in the darkness,
Excuse
stop,
me?
stare at them.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I don't want the
Rule
job.
number 4. Around 10 p.m.,
Okay.
you may hear noises coming from the basement.
The basement.
You will feel an overwhelming
Urge
to
for
go
what?
down there.
Oh, hell no, I
Go
will
into
not
the
feel
kitchen
no
and drink
urge.
a cold glass of milk.
What's a cold glass of milk going to do for me, Sharon?
Rule number 5.
Right?
After 10:30, if you hear footsteps coming down the stairs,
Okay.
lock yourself in the first floor bathroom.
I'm not locking myself in the bathroom with the lights on.
Not open the door until you made sure he is gone.
Who's he? I thought we were babysitting Samantha.
If you feel something tap your shoulder
Oh,
at
I'm
any
done.
point during
Nothing
the
is
night,
tapping me,
don't
Sharon.
Turn around. Rule number
Don't
7.
turn around.
This is very important.
Right, rule number 7.
Before you go to bed,
Right?
leave a plate outside your bedroom door with a piece of raw steak.
For
On a piece
what,
of
Sharon?
paper, write the words Parkant meat.
And what does that even...
red ink,
Someone's going to have to
and
translate.
place it
What
on
does
the
that even
plate.
mean?
Do not forget this one.
Why would I not forget
Stay
it?
calm. Follow
Stay...
the
I don't
rules.
want the job. I don't. I'm sorry.
Do you notice anything weird about this photo? If you guess that this person is dead, then you'd be correct. In this episode of Weird Shit Victorian People Did, I present to you Victorian post-mortem photography. It emerged in the mid-1800s, shortly after photography was invented. This was the practice of photographing loved ones as if they were still alive. During this time, the infant and child mortality rate was extremely high. Roughly 1 in 4 infants died before their first birthday. And just to put that into perspective, the infant mortality rate today is about 0.5%. In some cities, 40% of children did not live past the age of 5. Back then, there were high levels of infectious disease, poor sanitation, malnutrition, and childbirth complications. So the Victorians had elaborate mourning rituals
that were heavily influenced by Queen Victoria after her husband died. They followed strict mourning etiquette timelines that lasted years, which involved strict fashion and household requirements, including post-mortem photography. Society was also transitioning from painted portraits being the norm to photography being the norm. Even though photography was brand new, it was actually accessible and affordable to most people. Painted portraits were for the wealthy. So let's say your child passed away. You would likely call a local photographer who advertised post-mortem photography services to come over even before any burial preparations were made. Photography at this time required daylight, so photographers would come over either the same day or the next morning after the death. The deceased body would be washed and dressed in their best outfit. Infants would be swaddled in their christening clothing. Then their faces had to be set. So eyes would be gently closed and their mouth would be positioned normally. Eyelids were sometimes painted, or glass eyes would be used to make them look more alert. There were even a few options for posing. The sleeping position was most popular. Infants would be placed in their mother's arms. Children and adults were posed upright in chairs or even propped up against furniture. And then they would be surrounded by toys, books, flowers, and religious items. And taking a single photo would take several minutes, which made the deceased very easy subjects for photographers. The photos would often be touched up after development, add tint to lips and cheeks, or even a background to make it look more lifelike. Even though to us this seems a little bit scary and creepy, for them this was an act of love, honor, and respect for the dead. Hit the follow button if you want to hear more history like this.
It's easy to see these things as strange or morbid until you realize it was sometimes the only photo they ever had. In a way, it was love, captured just a little late. Dusty, say cheese. Or don't. You've earned the rest.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna need air check for this. I'm not gonna do this by myself on its own, and that's the chair that moves on its own. And I'm just tired, you know. There's absolutely
All right. It's not all doom, curses, and ghostly screaming. Some folks just want to turn their front lawn into a portal to the underworld in the most festive way possible. Whether it's 12-foot skeletons, dancing demons, or more fog machines than a rock concert in 1987, these next set of TikToks went all in for Halloween. Some say it's just for decoration. Others, they say it's ritual disguised as holiday cheer. Either way, grab your candy bag and keep an eye on the animatronics. They blink when you're not looking.
Hands down, these people are the winners. I'm loving It's Giving. Everybody's here. The whole gang. Shut up. Killed it. Oh, he's got a little rat in there. Oh my goodness, I love it. The amount of money that was spent on this. But I'm here for it. It just keeps going, okay? Stay with me, guys. Stay with me. We gotta blow this video up. These people deserve it. The work and the effort, and nobody else did anything really. This is so cool. I'm here for this. Wow, good job. I can't believe they have all the main characters. So cool.
Where are people keeping these Halloween decorations the rest of the year? I can't be the only one thinking this. When I was a kid, for Halloween, you'd put like a decal of a witch on your window, or you'd use the fun jack-o'-lantern bags for your leaves. Now it seems like every house that I pass, they got Warner Brothers budget. It's like they rented props from the Beetlejuice set. Everyone's complaining about inflation and the price of eggs, but Home Depot can't keep these fucking 40-foot skeletons on the shelves. Where are people even getting this stuff? A vintage hearse? Does Carvana even sell that? And most of the decorations that I see can't fit in people's attics or basements or garages. So they're literally just renting storage units for For Frankenstein? Diane, what the hell is this bill for $2,800? Oh, I needed another storage unit for the coffins and the Wolfman.
There he goes. What's up, Larry? Everybody knows Mo. And everybody knows. Who is this? Curly? What's up, Curly? Whoa, what happened here? It's the truck on fire. Yow.
So what we have here is a new type of scarecrow that people have been making. But damn the birds, this shit's scaring everybody and everything. Plants don't even want to grow. This look like something off Courage the Cowardly Dog or something. Look at that. I'm terrified.
There is only one legally haunted house in America. I'm a lawyer. Let me tell you the story. It starts in Nyack, New York in 1989. The case is Stambosky versus Ackley. Helen Ackley had moved to this house to raise their 4 children. Helen had some interesting happenings within the house. In fact, this house was on a tour of ghost houses around Halloween every year. She was very public about her poltergeists in her house. Helen even says that one of the poltergeists would wake the children up every morning by shaking the bed. Another poltergeist would leave gifts for the children. It seemed like one big happy family, albeit dead. Well, Helen wants to sell the house. She puts it on the market and she tells her agent, hey, I want to make sure that anybody out there knows they're buying a ghost house. Well, he gets an offer on the house from Mr. Stambosky. He is from New York City and he doesn't know anything about the history of the house. He makes an offer on the house and he has to put down $32,500, which in today's money is about $82,000. Helen, wanting to make sure that this is an open and honest and fair dealing, tells Mr. Stambosky about the haunting. He refuses to close. He says, I never had that conversation with your agent, and he doesn't close on the house. In fact, he loses his earnest money, the $32,500, because he didn't close. He sues for rescission. It means he wants to undo the contract. It goes through the trial system. He loses at the trial level, and then he appeals to the Court of Appeals in New York. The court, having a lot of fun with this, uses terms like hobgoblin, spirit of the case, doesn't have a ghost a chance, having fun with this. But ultimately what they decide is, yes, you can rescind this, because not only did Miss Ackley know that the house was haunted, she perpetuated that haunting in the public lore. She could now be protected by estoppel, saying that, he didn't know that this was public knowledge. The courts ultimately decide, in a famous quote, this house, as a matter of law, is haunted. It is a legally haunted house. The contract was rescinded. If anybody knows what's happened with this house since, let me know in the comments. Now, if you want to know about the only legal unaliving by the paranormal, let me know in the comments.
Oh my god, it is that. Oh my god! Stay away! No! No! Hey, Georgie. What? That's a nice boat.
Ah, yes, teaching them young how not to survive Chapter 1.
In the 1700s, the hills of Greene County, Pennsylvania, held a name that struck fear into every settler: Moll Derry, the witch of the Monongahela. They said she could summon storms with a whisper, call lightning from a clear sky, and speak with spirits that no one else could see. Cattle would drop dead overnight. Crops would rot in the field. Neighbors swore their children woke screaming after hearing Moll's voice calling their names from the riverbank. Travelers along the Monongahela told of a glowing mist that followed them, and of shadows that moved when she was near. Some believed Moll had sold her soul, others that she was born cursed, Even after her death, the river has not forgotten her. On stormy nights, locals still claim to see a woman's figure standing at the water's edge, whispering to the wind. Her legend lingers, and the witch of the Monongahela still haunts Pennsylvania to this day.
The legend of Maldary, so-called Witch of the Monongahela, and whether you think she was a soul seller, a spirit walker, or just a woman the townsfolk didn't understand, her story lingers. It's hard to tell where truth ends and terror begins. In the 1700s, yes, a woman with knowledge or just the wrong look in her eye was often branded a witch. I think we kind of all know this by now. But when the storms rolled in and the animals died mysteriously, well, people didn't look to science. They looked to Mal.
Who's ready for one of my scariest mortician stories? I had somebody who follows my page say, you need to retell the Halloween story, because I hadn't even seen it until someone showed it to me, and because it's so far back. So here we go. So we had a family come in, and they were planning a service for a lady who passed away from cancer, and she was in her 40s. When we sat down, her mom says to me, well, I have something to tell you. She loved Halloween. I can't tell you how excited I was when she said that, because I'm a huge Halloween fan as well. So she said she told us that she would haunt us if we did not follow her wishes. And I'm like, well, let's do it. So the first one is that she wanted to have visitation and lie in state in a Halloween costume. The second request was that she wanted to have a CD brought in that she actually put together before her death. And she brought that in. She wanted that played during her visitation. She also wanted a Halloween themed memorial folder, which was awesome to create. Of course, I was all over that. And I don't know if I told this in the first video, but they even decided, because it was traditional cremation, so she was in a casket for viewing, but then she was going to be cremated. And they decided for her ashes to be taken to the cemetery on Halloween, and they made arrangements with the cemetery to bury them on a Halloween night. So kind of cool. All right, so here's what happened. So the funeral home that I was working for at the time was really, really small. So we probably had maybe 3 services a month. So I was the only director that was there. I was, office manager, the funeral director. I was everything, So I was the only one at the funeral home. And so, we got her dressed and ready, and she was in a full witch's costume, and she was in our viewing room, and the family had brought in the day before a CD for me to play. So they brought in her CD, and when they brought it in, I put it in and I previewed it just to make sure that, it was playing. There weren't any glitches or anything. And the first song that comes on is the Halloween movie theme song, which, this girl was awesome. Okay, so she also had a request that we loop the CD, okay? I'm not really easily spooked, but for some reason that day, I just felt kind of chills when I heard the song, and I was by myself, and I don't know what it was. Like I said, I'm not easily spooked. So I come in the next day and come in the office, put my purse down, I walk in the back door and unlock the back door, and I was getting ready to unlock the front door when all of a sudden the door chimed, and I thought to myself, what is that? Because I haven't unlocked the door yet. And the only way that the door is going to chime is if, of course, one, it's unlocked, and two, someone walks through the door because there was a sensor on it. I walk out into the foyer area where the front door is, and there's no one there. There's no one at the door. I realize the door is still locked. You guys, God is my witness. Okay, I'm not lying about this. This is the scariest thing that has ever happened to me. All at once, the CD player starts playing by itself. The volume is loud, and so I'm standing there hearing the Halloween movie theme song, and the door's locked, and it freaked me out, you guys. It scared me to death. I had worked there several years, and never once has that CD player ever turned itself on. Like, I mean, you got to push the button to turn it on, right? Like, it had never turned on by itself. I knew. Like, I walked into her stateroom, turned on the lights, and said, "You got me, okay? You got me. But I need you to stop because you're scaring me." And I feel as if she had the last laugh, okay? Because she did. I mean, I'm not easily spooked. And that day, that scared the shit out of me, okay? It did. And that is probably the scariest day I have ever had at the funeral home, ever.
Well, you know you've lived your truth when even your ghost stays on theme. All right, we've seen ghosts, witches, and warnings from beyond, but sometimes the best Halloween chills come from a well-placed animatronic and a completely unprepared soul. The next set of videos features animals versus Halloween decorations, kids getting spooked, and, grown adults jumping like cartoon characters. It's pure chaos. It's pure Halloween. And honestly, it's the kind of fear you can laugh at because everyone survives.
All right, here we go.
No. Hey.
His first time trick or treating and the first house we went to traumatized him.
Oh, what do you say?
Girls, grab your candy! Walter! Say trick or treat!
Oh my gosh, what a cute little costume! Here you go.
Close enough! Say thank you! Say thank you! Wow! Please don't start screaming. Ring the doorbell. Kari, no. Go ring the damn doorbell, girl. How you think they're gonna come to the door?
Please stop. Let's wait.
You gotta go. They're not gonna come to the door if you don't ring the doorbell. Kari, I'm right here.
Are y'all friendly?
I'm right here, Kari. I'm right here. Thank you.
Pretty sure this guy fainted.
Would you just do it? I stepped on you. Why would you do it? Monkey, go, yeah, monkey.
Run away. I'll just catch up with you later. In your nightmare. Hello there, little one. Want some candy? Come on, it's free. It's free.
Halloween section is trash this year, but thank God they got the anal bead spider.
This mirror that you're looking at right now was used to conjure spirits by a man in New Jersey. What he would do, and you could replicate this, but I don't want you to, because you might get in trouble, is he went into a room, he darkened all the windows by putting up blackout curtains all around the windows, so the room became so black that you could not see in front of your face. Then he took a small, like 20-watt red bulb, similar to this bulb right here, or like this bulb right here. And what he did was he put the bulb behind the chair, and so the mirror was up on the wall, and then a few feet away was the chair, and behind the chair was the red light. So all you could glimpse is just a little bit of the mirror. And what he would do, he would sit in front of this mirror for hours on end and beckon his relatives that had passed on. He'd beckon his mom and dad, his grandparents, his aunts. He was obsessed with it. What he did was do this for hours on end. He would say, "Come on, Grandma, come on through to me. Show yourself to me." Well, he did this for about 2 weeks straight. Nothing happened. But soon, things did start to appear on this glass, on this mirror here that I'm showing you. Here's me again. Trying to look spooky, I guess. Anyway, he had monstrosities start to come through the mirror. Not his relatives, not his mom, not his dad, but these monstrosities, these hideous-looking figures began to come through the mirror, which drove him to almost a state of insanity. He had to be treated at a mental institution. Now, what that is similar to, what he did, was a psychomanthium. A psychomanthium is basically that. It's either an enclosure or a room that you darken to blackness, and then with a dim light, you stare at a mirror and try to see if spirits will come through that mirror. That's how you would use a psychomanthium. I don't recommend you do that because you don't know what you're inviting in. It's like using a Ouija board. When you call on spirits using a Ouija board, you don't know what you're asking or who you're asking those favors from.
Like any portal, what you get depends on what's listening. Grief can make us reach for anything, but obsession, that's when the veil gets thin for the wrong reasons. When we open doors in the spirit world, we have to ask, do we know how to close them? Because not every reflection is your own. And sometimes the mirrors look back. That moment when your coworker doesn't clock in, but still manages to haunt your shift.
You know that classic Halloween witch that we think of, the old hag with the big nose and the hunched over back and all that? Yeah, that was a real person, and she actually predicted the end of the world. Her name was Ursula, and she was born inside of a cave during a thunderstorm in 1488 in Yorkshire, England, but she became known as Mother Shipton. She was born with several deformities. She had a hooked nose, hunched over back, her body was crooked, and people back then thought that the way a child looked was a direct result of their parents' sins. So people thought her mother had slept with the devil, so she was the daughter of the devil, a witch, if you will. Here's the gag though, instead of hiding these deformities away, Mother Shipton became famous. People traveled from all around to her cave for potions or remedies. See, she was a herbologist, and she would also provide prophecies to these people. Now, whether she actually saw the future or these prophecies were written after the fact, nobody really knows, because after she passed away, pamphlets like this went viral in England. She became the most famous witch prophet of her time. And yes, she became the blueprint for the old hag witch narrative that we all got when we were growing up. The next time you see a little kid walking down the street dressed like a little witch, just know she's dressed up like Mother Shipton. And yes, Mother Shipton did predict the end of the world. She's on that big list of prophets that all said there would be mass land changes, and we can talk about that next time.
Ah, Mother Shipton. Prophets rarely get parades in their lifetime, only whispers and warnings. Mother Shipton's cave still stands in Yorkshire, and legend says the waters that drip through the stone can turn anything to stone, a fitting echo of how the world tried to petrify what it couldn't understand. Some say she predicted the end of the world. Maybe she did. Or maybe she just saw how humanity repeats its own endings over and over again.
Hey. It smells like pumpkin spice. It smells like pumpkin spice. Smells pretty good. He's really going. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, he's really going for it. Okay, goodbye.
And that, friends, is the true circle of Halloween. Birth, death, and fiber. And that wraps up this special Halloween edition of the Beyond Files. To everyone who stuck with me through some of the biggest shifts this year, I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Losing Blue, stepping forward solo, it's been a season of deep change, but your comments, your messages, their support, they've meant more than I can ever put into words. You've kept the flame burning. So if you've enjoyed this spooky ride tonight, give it a like. Hit the subscribe and ring that bell. And if you want to support the show directly, head over to coffee.com/tothespirit. Links in the description. It helps more than you know. Tell a friend about the channel, especially the weird ones. You know, the ones. We're their kind of people. And of course, we have to say goodbye to our seasonal co-host, Dusty the Skeleton, who's officially retiring after this episode. He's going back into the storage with a thermos full of fake cobwebs, a signed 8x10 of himself, and way too much candy corn. Dusty, seriously, thanks for keeping the bones light. From my haunted heart to yours, happy Halloween. And remember, just because it's over doesn't mean it's gone. Good night, friends. See you next time.